Okay, friends, let's start discussing communication. Now, let's understand how earlier communication used to take place first. Okay, so let's go for an introduction. So, what exactly is communication, or how we can define communication in technical terms? So, if you observe this, this is a slide showing you how earlier people used to communicate. So these are few examples of communication in those old times. Drumming was one of them, carrier pigeons, Pony Express, and then ultimately after industrial revolution, it led to some modernization towards telegraph, which is also obsolete these days. Okay, but then these were the modes of communication so far as previous life was concerned. Please keep on taking screenshots, okay, so that we carry on things and they stay as a record for you people. All right. So once you are done with it, let me know. Yeah. Yeah, friends. So hopefully done. Let's move ahead then. These, so what I was telling you was this was the previous type of communication which used to happen. Now in modern day communication, you can see what we need in modern day communication. First of all, what is communication? So let's try to define communication in a proper way, in a full-fledged manner. Okay, so let's see what communication is, friends. It refers to transfer of information or it's message. Okay, so typological error over here. So information or message from one point to another in an intelligible form, and obviously the transfer should be a faithful transfer, friends. All right, so here you can see the transfer should be a faithful transfer. Yeah. So how do you define communication here onwards? Communication refers to a faithful transfer of information or message from one point to another where it reaches in an intelligible form. Friends, make a note of it and then we move ahead. Slowly we will get into greater details of the communication system then. Yeah. So just let me know once you're done with it, okay? Fine. So let's move ahead then. So that was about communication. Now let's talk about communication system. What do we need in communication system? Let's understand that. So it is a setup which is required for communicating the message from one point to another. So that setup, we need to study regarding the setup basically. That setup would be called as communication system. Again, quickly note it down so that we move ahead. Yeah, mostly you people say done. So good. Let's move ahead then. Yeah. So let's talk about the block diagram for communication system.
Sir, can you show the last slide?
Yes, Reva, no problem. Let me know once you are done with it, okay?
Done, sir. Thank you.
Okay, no problem. So let's talk about the block diagram for communication. The first point is the origin of information. Then the second point, you need to transmit this information. So you need a transmitter in a setup basically. So in your mobile phones also, you would see there is a transmitter. Okay. Then after transmitter, obviously you need some channel for the information to move from one point to another. for us, the channel is our network systems, basically 4G networks which we are using as of now. But that channel can be of various types. So we would be discussing channels also in greater details, friends. Okay. Now, once you use channel, then at the other end, because the information is getting transmitted from one point to another, at the receiving end, you require a receiver also. So if you try to analyze this situation, your mobile phones also have receivers, and therefore you are able to receive this information. The information which I am passing on, obviously it's not a phone call, but it's a data type information which I'm sending you. All right, but then you are able to receive it because your instruments or your gadgets, they have receivers, friends. All right. Okay. Rishikesh is saying I'm not audible. Is it the problem with everybody? Reva, am I audible?
Yes, sir.
Okay, Rishikesh, please log out and again re-log in so that, you know, maybe it's a problem with your network. Yeah, Rishikesh has to log out and again log in. Okay, let's move ahead. Channel, then we need a receiver. So your laptop or your mobile phone, it would have a transmitter as well as a receiver also, because you are able to receive the information as well as you are able to transmit the information also. But then the channel which we are using is a 4G network as of now, which will get converted into 5G basically. All right. But then later on, but as of now we are using 4G network. So we are using 4G network. So 4G network is the channel for us, friends. All right. So then finally the destination. Okay. So this is the block diagram for communication. So the first point will be the origin of information, which has to get transmitted, and obviously it has to get transmitted through a channel, and then it has to be received. Yeah, Srushti, you can speak. You can unmute and speak. You have a doubt, you can speak, Srushti. Srushti, are you able to hear me? You raise your hand. Therefore, I'm asking you to ask your doubt.
Yes.
Yeah, what's your doubt? Please go ahead. Unmute and go ahead. Okay, fine. Okay. Now here we talk about the block diagram. First point I said origin of information, going to transmitter, transmitting to the channel, channel giving it to the receiver, and receiver to destination. Now this channel, you can see, obviously we need the signal to pass on through the channel basically, and the source is a noise source. If it's a audio call, it's a noise source basically. So let's start defining these technical parameters now. So what is a transmitter? A transmitter is an instrument or is a device basically which transmits the information after modifying it to a form suitable for transmission basically. Okay, a raw information cannot be transmitted. The transmitter will always modify the signals to a suitable form for transmission. Second, communication channel. Now, when I'm talking about communication channel, the communication channel carries the modulated wave from the transmitter to the receiver. That's what the block diagram says, okay? And it shows also. The information is being transmitted from transmitter to receiver through a channel, okay? So that's how we define communication channel. The next one is a receiver. Now what receiver does basically, it picks up the signal, it amplifies it and displays it so that you are able to see it basically. Okay. So please make a note of this before we move ahead and let me know once you're done with it. When I am saying make a note of it, you're supposed to take screenshots so that they serve as notes for you people in the later stages. Okay, so most of you say done. Okay. Let's move ahead then. Yeah. Okay. let's talk about the communication system in greater details. Okay, let's bifurcate the parts of communication system. So you can see communication system, you require a channel. The channel is the most important thing for communicating information from one point to another. In our case, the channel for us to communicate is our 4G network, I'm saying. Okay, now this channel can be classified into different types. Earlier we used to have landlines, so those type of channels were guided lines, you can see. Okay, now these guided lines can also be bifurcated into two types. So the modern part of it was optical fibers, which is Reliance people used to lay the previous days, say 10 years back. You would have seen it, people laying optical fibers on the road for good communication. Prior to that were metal wires. Earlier we had landlines with us. We never had mobile phones. Okay. Now these metal wires, which were used for communication earlier when we used to have those BSNL or MTNL landlines, these are also classified into different types of wires. So what are the different types of wire they are classified into? So here are these examples. Okay. So parallel wires, or twisted pair, or coaxial cable. But my dear friends, now we are not using all this. Okay. At the most, what we can do is we use optical fibers. Yeah, Anushka, you have some doubts, so please ask me. Unmute
Yes,
and speak. Yes, Anushka.
I couldn't hear the optic fiber information. Can you please tell?
Yeah, I'll definitely share it once again. No problem. No problem. Okay, I'm doing that.
Yes.
Here, I was talking about the channel in communication system. Earlier, this channel was mostly the guided line connections, basically. Because we used to have landlines, they were connected with the help of some wires. And, these wires were of two types. Metal wires were the earlier part, and optical fiber was the later part, basically. So Reliance people used to use optical fibers for communication, basically. Metal wires were again classified into three types: parallel wires, twisted pair, and coaxial cables. But nowadays we don't use this. Okay, so the channel has changed for us. So let's understand it. So this is history, basically. Let's see what we use these days then. Okay, so now we use unguided. So this was a guided communication. Okay, through line the message used to get transferred. Now the messages get transferred, or the data gets transferred unguided in space. So we also call such communication as wireless communication. All right. So when I'm saying wireless communication, friends, again, unguided communication can be basically classified into two types. Either you would be using satellites for communication, which we are doing in our case while we are using 4G networks, or the other thing can be radio communication, ground to ground communication. We will be using atmospheric layers for communication. So such kind of communication would be radio communication. Now this radio communication again can be bifurcated into three types. All right. The first type is ground waves communication, where you might have seen two policemen talking with walkie-talkie, but then the range is very less, hardly 1 kilometer here and there. But then the waves are ground waves in that case. The waves don't go to the satellite, all right, like our mobile phones. So they have walkie-talkie. So those walkie-talkies, they use ground waves for communication. We would be studying ground waves in greater details subsequently. Second type of radio communication is sky waves. Okay, so we need to know what are the different layers of atmosphere, basically, for understanding how communication takes place in form of sky waves, or the third type, that is space wave, friends. So sky wave and space wave is different from satellite communication. Remember that. Okay, so don't get confused between these two things. Satellite communication is entirely different from space communication and Skype communication. Yeah, but in today's world, they all are integrated, basically. So you never know which type of waves you are using for communication. Okay, it depends on from perspective to perspective, use to use, basically. So please make a note of this chart, friends, so that we start getting into greater details here onwards. And once you are done with it, let me know. Yeah, so most of you say yes. Let's move ahead then. Yeah, so what I mean to say is signals directly cannot be transmitted from one point to another. The signal has to be converted, or it has to be mixed with some different carrier waves basically, which are of high frequency. Then only that signal will reach you. See, if I'm talking in my room, obviously without a laptop and the communication system, my voice won't reach you. It will die out here itself in the room itself. But still, you are able to hear me very clearly. Now, why that is happening? Because the source of information is my voice, obviously along with this data which you are visualizing. And what has happened? That signal is being mixed with a carrier signal. So what carrier signal does? So it protects the original signal, and it takes the original signal to longer distances without loss in energy. Right? That means the signals won't attenuate. There won't be any loss of energy. So such type of mixing, so that means the original signal has to be mixed with a carrier frequency signal. We call such mixing as modulation, friends. So this is something which you need to think about. Okay, very interesting concept. So you mix original signals, and then you mix them, and then the original signals go longer distances without any dissipation of energy. Okay, that's the need of modulation which I'm talking about, friends. Okay, now this modulation can be in terms of amplitude of the two waves. So amplitude is a term, it's a maximum displacement from the mean position. So if it is in terms of amplitude, we call it as AM. Okay, so the waves are AM waves. So in radio also you have AM and FM. Now if the modulation is taking place in terms of frequency, now it's called as frequency modulation. The notation for it is FM. So whatever FM stations we hear, radio signals basically, we actually go for frequency modulation. The short form of frequency modulation is FM. So we need to modulate these signals for making them, move through longer distances without the loss in energy. Please make a note of it before I move ahead. Okay, great. Let's move ahead then. Let's define the types of modulation. So as I have said, modulation can be of two types, amplitude and angular modulation. Okay, and angular modulation can further be bifurcated into two types. One is frequency modulation, that is FM, and PM means phase modulation. Now what is phase, what is frequency, all these details you would be studying in the coming chapters in 11th standard, friends. As of now, you just get well versed with these new terminologies like phase for PM, phase modulation, frequency modulation FM, amplitude modulation AM. Right. So these are some output graphs for different types of modulation, friends. Please make a note of it. Hopefully done. Chalo, let's move ahead then. Let's talk about the different types of layers in our atmosphere for understanding communication in a better perspective. Here you can see the first layer is troposphere. Okay. So in troposphere, you can see the temperature is also shown, how the temperature drops basically. All right, and the life form will exist in troposphere. The second layer is stratosphere, you can see. All right, and the boundary between stratosphere and mesosphere, it comes out to be stratopause. Okay, then the next layer is mesosphere. So shooting star burns here actually, you can see. This is the layer of the atmosphere where the shooting star burns, right? Yeah, yeah. Then the next layer is thermosphere. The temperature fluctuations or the satellites, they would be moving in thermosphere. And then the final thing is exosphere. There onwards, the effect of acceleration due to gravity of Earth ends. Satellites are launched here in this layer, somewhere here. And ozone layer, lies somewhere here in the stratosphere. You can see. So hopefully you have made a note of this. Okay. Slowly we will discuss it in greater details. Okay, let's move ahead then. Yeah. Just give me a moment so that I share a different screen with you people. Yeah, so let's move ahead then. Let's bifurcate the different layers of atmosphere, friends. Okay, so first layer is troposphere, the second layer is stratosphere, the third layer is mesosphere, the next layer is ionosphere, and the last one is thermosphere. Okay, let's talk about the height of these layers. So troposphere, basically you will come across troposphere from 0 to 12 kilometers from the surface. Stratosphere lies between 12 to 50 kilometers, you can see. Mesosphere will lie from 50 to 80 kilometers. 80 to 400 you call that layer as ionosphere. And the next one is thermosphere, you can see. Let's talk about the densities of these different types of layers, friends. So you can see this would be the range of density for troposphere. Then for stratosphere, you can see the density goes on decreasing. All right. So these are the values for densities, ranges of densities for different layers, friends. All right. So then the temperature range for different layers we need to know. So you can see will range from 290 Kelvin to 220 for the troposphere. Then for stratosphere, it's mentioned there. The next one is for mesosphere. And for thermosphere, you can see it will be from 180 Kelvin to 700 Kelvin, friends. Let's talk about the speciality of different layers. So this is how you are supposed to remember about these layers. Troposphere, you will come across dust, water, vapor, and rain. Okay. Stratosphere mostly is known by ozone layer which it contains. Absorbs UV rays and protects human life. Okay. So mostly which layer of the atmosphere we are using for communication? So ionosphere we would be using. Okay. So please make a note of this and let me know once you have noted down this chart. Hopefully done. Yeah. Okay. Okay, let's move ahead then. Okay, now let's talk about ground waves. So wave which can travel directly from one point to another along the surface of Earth. Okay, we call such propagation as ground wave propagation. So basically when we talk about ground waves, you can see a radio tower providing the waves to the antenna at home basically. Okay, this type of propagation we will call it as ground wave propagation. So please make a note of it and then we move ahead. Okay, first make a note of this diagram so far as ground wave propagation is concerned, and then I'll give you the notation for the writing part. Yeah, so mostly people say done. Let's move ahead then. All right. Okay. Now the frequency range which is used for ground waves, 500 kilohertz to 1500 kilohertz. So this is how the ground waves would propagate in form of ions basically. See, charges. So this is how ground wave propagation takes place. Okay, vertically polarized means they should be all should be directed in one plane, that is vertical plane basically. Horizontal component is absorbed by earth. Okay. Electric field induces charge in the ground which produces current. So this is just an explanation how the ground wave propagation would take place. And the antenna should be close to earth. That's what was shown in the diagram also. So these are the details regarding the ground wave propagation. Please make a note of this. It's like an informative chapter, but then we have to deal with it sometime or the other. So we chose it this time. Yeah, hopefully done. Okay. Let's move ahead. Yeah. So what are the disadvantages of ground waves? So attenuate very quickly. That means they cannot go for larger distances. The energy dissipation will take place quickly. You cannot use it for long distance communication. As the frequency increases, the attenuation also increases. So you cannot use it in microwave range. Okay, that is for television and FM. You cannot use ground waves. Application. Then where do we use it? All AM radio signaling during daytime you can use, ship communication or short distance radar communication. You can see short distance communication, radar communication, you can use this technology. Please make a note of it and then we move ahead towards it next type of waves for communication channel. Hopefully done. Yes. Good. Yeah, Akansha, please unmute and speak. You have some doubts, I believe.
Sorry, sir, by mistake.
Okay, no problem. You can just note it down over horizon chip communication. If you just want to understand it in form of a diagram, you can make a note of this diagram also. Okay, so small radars they use this type of waves. Okay, I believe done. Let's move ahead then. Second type of propagation is sky wave propagation, friends. So here what happens is the radio waves from the transmitting antenna reaches the receiving antenna after reflection from ionosphere. So whenever you get the waves after reflection from ionosphere, which we have mentioned previously, then such type of propagation will be called as sky wave propagation. You can see here the waves they are getting reflected from ionosphere. So this is the transmitter antenna. Obviously after reflection it will go to the receiver antenna. But in the process you can see the distance covered for such communication is comparatively greater as compared to the ground wave communication, friends. So such type of wave propagation is a sky wave propagation. Okay. Normally, very high frequency or ultra high frequency waves are transmitted through sky waves basically. Okay, so you can see, and what gets reflected is high frequency waves will get reflected, but very high frequency or ultra high frequency, they will just get transmitted, they won't get reflected. So these high frequency waves can be transmitted from one point to another with the help of sky wave propagation, friends. You can see. So what is the frequency range used for such kind of propagation? So 2 megahertz to 30 megahertz. Okay, how it works? So ionosphere contains positive, negative ions. So when the rays or the waves enter ionosphere, density of ions, here it's written in short form basically, increases. INC means increases, but the refractive index decreases. That's what it says. RI means refractive index, and therefore total internal reflection will take place. And that's how, because of this reason, you can see the rays, they get reflected towards the surface of Earth, and that's how we become successful in skywave propagation. So you can see, and it will suffer from TIR. Now, what is the full form of TIR? TIR is total internal reflection. So high frequency waves get totally internally reflected. Okay. Actually, it's a process of refraction, but then it's a specialized case of refraction. Total internal reflection. Okay. So please make a note of it, friends. And if you have any doubts, you can ask me in the later stages also regarding this. Okay. Once you are done with it, please let me know so that we move ahead towards the next type of wave propagation. Yeah, so most of you say done. Let's move ahead. The next type of wave is, you can see, or oh, let's talk about the advantages and disadvantages. So the advantages for sky wave propagation, you can communicate long distances up to 4,000 kilometers. You can see. Disadvantages, highly unreliable, cannot be used for very high frequency or ultra high frequencies. Application, so amateur radios, FMs, you can work it out. Using commercial aircraft, marine communication. So please make a note of advantages and disadvantages of sky waves and applications as well. So once you are done with it, let me know.
Sir,
Yes, Anushka.
sir,
Yeah, tell me.
what is highly unreliable?
Highly unreliable means, at times what may happen is, few of the waves may lose their energy during communication. So that's why they say highly unreliable in that case. So at times you see, when you move from Pune to Mumbai, what happens? The one FM station overlaps with the other FM station. So you cannot have a clear-cut boundary, demarcated boundary, which leads to unreliability in that case. Did you understand it, Anushka?
Yes, sir, got it.
Okay, okay. Fine. So hopefully done then. You have noted this down. Let's move ahead. Space waves. Now what are space waves? Let's understand this. Okay. So here you can see there are two antennas. Okay. And space waves work within troposphere. There is one transmitter antenna which will transmit the signal. There would be a receiver antenna which will receive the signal. Obviously, the signals may go from ground waves also, but majoritarily the signals which get reflected from troposphere, okay, to the receiver antenna. Such type of wave propagation, we will call it as space wave propagation, friends. Here you can see when the radio waves from the transmitting antenna reaches the receiving antenna directly, then such wave propagation will be called as space wave, as shown in the diagram, friends. This is how space wave propagation takes place. You can see from one cloud to other. But then it has its own limitations as well. Before I show you this slide, please make a note of this. Hopefully done, I believe. Yeah. Most of you say yes. Good. You can quickly take a picture of this also, how actually the waves get transmitted, from one end to another. This transmitter is over here. You have to place clouds over here, you can see. Right. Yeah, so most of you say yes, done. Let's move ahead then. Yeah, so let's come back to this thing again. The frequency range which we use in this type of communication, basically for very high or ultra high frequency, that is 30 megahertz to 300 megahertz basically. Okay, so please make a note of this frequency range also for space waves. So we have seen three types of waves, basically ground waves, then sky waves, and then finally space waves. Okay, most of you say done. Okay, so these are the explanation how it reaches from. So it has to reach within line of sight. If the line of sight is not connected to the transmitter antenna and the receiver antenna, then the communication becomes difficult. That's what it's meaning basically. Advantages. Now, what are the advantages of this? So the earlier waves, sky waves, were not useful for very high frequency and ultra high frequency band. So you can use very high frequency and ultra high frequency waves to be transmitted under, space waves basically. What are the limitations? You cannot use it for long distances. Line of sight matters due to the curvature of Earth. So if used for large distances, what will happen? You will have to use repeater, and the cost of communication will increase in that case. So where do we use it then? TV signal transmission, FM signal transmission, space waves, and radar communication. So these are the uses of space waves. Please make a note of it. Okay, hopefully you have noted it down. Yeah, so most of you say yes. Good. Let's move ahead then.